Hey guys, it's Richard from Grafting Dragon Fruit. Today I'm going to be making a series on how to grow dragon fruit from cutting to fruit. So if you guys been wondering how to grow dragon fruit and are new to growing dragon fruit, this is going to be a perfect series for you guys. So you can follow along how I grow dragon fruits from cutting with a trellis and pot, and then harvest the fruit at the end of our journey. And for anyone that doesn't have dragon fruit cuttings, I do offer dragon fruit cutting giveaways on my Instagram. And if you guys don't follow my Instagram, I'll leave it in my description, and it's at Grafting Dragon Fruit. And for anyone that has questions that I can't get to right away, I also have a Facebook group called Grafting Dragon Fruit, which has 12,000 members in there, and you guys can go in there, join, ask questions, get help from other communities in the dragon fruit people in there, and they can help you get dragon fruits, answer questions if I can't get to it right away. So make sure you guys utilize those resources that I have. And if you guys don't have dragon fruit cuttings, my Instagram is giving away cuttings every Friday. So go ahead and look into that, and that way you guys can get some cuttings and grow dragon fruits with me. With that being said, you guys, we're going to talk about the supplies that we're going to need to go ahead and grow the dragon fruit, because that's going to be the most important thing before you even get the cuttings. What I really recommend is you guys get a trellis, something like this. And if you guys don't have a trellis or don't know how to build one, I will leave the link in my description, and it shows you guys the steps on how to build this trellis completely from just wood, the dimensions, and everything you guys are going to need to make this successful. Okay, you guys? And what I do is I have two versions. I use the cement block one because the cement block is easily found in my Home Depots that I go to. In certain areas, this cement block is not available. So there's another version where I show you guys how to do a pinwheel with the wood, and it stands it right up. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about supplies, what we're gonna be using to plant our dragon fruit cuttings in today and get the whole process started, okay? Let's talk about soil. So I like to use Fox Farm Ocean Forest. This is the high quality soil that's really high in organic nutrients like bat compost, bat guano, worm casting, and fish fertilizer. And it's a really well drained soil. So that way, if I sometimes overwater, the water is going to drain out from the soil, and it's going to leave the right amount of moisture that's needed in there for dragon fruits to be happy and to continue feeding them. So Fox Farm is what I use in all of my dragon fruit pots that you guys see that I have here today. And this is the most asked question is, Richard, what size pot do you use to grow dragon fruit, and how many cuttings can I plant into this one pot? So this is a 20-gallon nursery pot. I like to use the plastic containers because they just last longer, because I'm pulling things around, and it makes it very easy for me to just, you know, relocate it if I need to, or if it's raining too much, I can always bring it to my patio and keep them safe. Or if there's a big heat wave coming, patio, or I just put some burlap over to help them safe. So yeah, 20-gallon pots. You guys can find this at hydroponic garden stores, and I think there's a website that sells it. I'll leave it in my description once I find it. And for wood, so let's go ahead and talk about the type of wood I use for my trellis. So we talked about soil, the gallons of pot that I use, 20 gallon, and I can use 20 gallon for all of my dragon fruits, and now the post. So the dragon fruit post, I like to use something about 4 to 5 feet. You guys see it's about height of my head, so that way when I'm pruning, cutting, harvesting, it's very easy for me to get around it, and I don't have to use a ladder to climb up just to get things maintained. So that's why I like to use about 4 to 5 feet, but you can use up to 6, 7, 8 feet. It really depends on your guys' area and how your landscape is, and if you guys are worried of kids running into the branches, taller is always better. But because I don't have any kids yet, I'm gonna be building it about my height, so that way I can just make things a lot easier for me. So yes, I have a 4x4 cedar wood post. This is also cedar wood for the canopy part, and they're cut into 18 inches. So very important to have a trellis, you guys. Once dragon fruit starts to grow, they can grow very rapidly and very quick and start to branch out crazy. And once they get really big, as you guys can see behind me, it gets really hard to put them under without breaking anything. So it's advised that you guys have a trellis first. Once you guys have a trellis, get some high quality soil and get your 20-gallon pot, and then you're ready to plant 4 cuttings into your setup. All right, guys, with that being said, we talked about all the supplies. You guys are now ready. You guys have everything to go. Let's go ahead and show you guys how I plant my dragon fruit cuttings into this 20-gallon pot. I always start first with my trellis. So this trellis is really heavy, which is good because, you know, high power winds can come. Sometimes things can hit it and then get knocked over, but because this cement block is so sturdy, it keeps everything pretty, you know, nice and sturdy in there for me. So I'm gonna center this as much as I can. So this is what it's gonna look like, you guys. The cement block is just gonna sit right in there, just like that. And I've tried to center it as much as I can. And now I'm just gonna go ahead, open a bag of soil and fill them up about half of a way, maybe 3/4 of a way, just so then I can get some of these cuttings in. So here's the Fox Farm, really nice soil, you guys, check it out. There's a lot of perlite. It feels really loose, not compact, so really nice quality soil. Really like this a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with just pouring some of the soil in, just like that. So I want to probably get about halfway there. And then I'm gonna start putting my pots in there just to see how the cuttings are gonna sit. Kind of picture and set it up to how I want it to be, so that way once I pour the rest of the soil in, it's gonna be permanent in there. So about something like this looks good for now. We can always add more, and if there's too much, you guys can always remove some of it. Okay, so now it's in there, we are good. Let's talk about cuttings and what I'm gonna be planting today, you guys. So this is white sapphire. White sapphire is a self-fertile variety that's a pink flesh. A lot of people tell me it reminds them of Delight, but Delight is self-sterile. So it requires cross-pollination, but with white sapphire, it doesn't require any cross-pollination. You can use its own pollen to pollinate itself and get this beautiful pink flesh dragon fruit. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how I'm gonna gauge it in there. So just like this. About there, the pot's sitting a little high, so I'm gonna probably move some soil just so that way I can get it to go down just a tad more. About something like this. So that looks good to me. I'm confident, everything looks good. And if you guys don't already have garden tape, this is also needed. I use this a lot to train my dragon fruit branches to continue to go up to the very top, and that's when I'm gonna cut it, so that way it can create new branches and create a very beautiful canopy that you guys see all my dragon fruits today. All right, so here is our white sapphire, and this is what I do. Kind of just tilt it over. With all the soil that you have in there, you don't want to waste any. I tilt it in there, squeeze the pot like this, and then you see that it just pops right out. You see that soil, they're falling right out. But look at the roots. I have roots in here, you guys. I left it into a 1-gallon pot, so then that way it can root out. So when it's ready to be planted, I can just put it into its trellis. Can you just put fresh cuttings in here and grow right away? Yes, you can. You can have cuttings that's not rooted, put it in here, but the problem is they aren't rooted yet, so they're gonna get dehydrated a little faster. So if you guys can cover it with cardboard, what I tell people is cut cardboard, cover this whole thing up, and put the cardboard right in there, so then it shades your dragon fruit. Once you see new shoots like this grow, they're ready, you can remove the cardboard. If you don't want to do it that way, just root it in a 1-gallon pot, just like how I did. I keep it in my little patio area where it's always shaded, and once I see new shoots and roots come out, I know they're ready for their trellis, and I bring them right out and plant them into their permanent spot right away, and they can go into direct sun once they have roots. Okay, guys? So that's another question that's frequently asked is, when do I plant my dragon fruit in my area? And you just look for new shoots or some developed roots, so then you know they're ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna leave this bamboo stick in here for now, so then it can keep things upright. But as you guys can see, it's already planted. I'm gonna take some of this soil, cover the rest of the roots is on there, so we're not gonna let the sun kind of burn them off because we worked so hard to develop those roots. So now we have one ready. Normally, if it's falling around, I would take this garden tape and tape it up right away, so that the way they're not falling around. But I'm gonna go ahead and just continue, finish this pot up, and then we're gonna call it a day, okay? So this one here is Israeli yellow. This is a yellow skin with white flesh, and it's known to be self-fertile as well, and I've let the roots really go off in here. You guys check it out. There's already roots growing there. They're climbing up, so this tells me they are more than ready to go to their permanent home. So I'm gonna go ahead now and put it into the 20-gallon pot because the roots looks just absolutely amazing. Same thing, guys. I put my hand right under the pot, give it a little light squeeze, kind of pull at it, but not too much, and check that out, you guys. That root that I was telling you guys about, it's ready to jump out. So I'm gonna leave the bamboo sticks. I'm gonna remove all of those at the end because this just kind of helps me move things around. Kind of situate it together. Again, put all soil onto the roots so then we're not letting the sunlight kind of destroy them. and now they are happy. Okay, so here is another one. This one is called Sour Patch Kids, you guys. This is a new variety that me and my friend discovered. My friend Kevin is the one that actually grows it. We wanted to see if it was gonna be good. When we tasted it, it reminded us a lot like the candy Sour Patch Kids. So that's why we named it Sour Patch Kids. And the fruit is absolutely amazing. Very exceptional flavors. Can't wait to go ahead and mass produce this and eventually share it with you guys. So I know that's gonna be your next questions. So am I gonna have cuttings of this available? I will once it grows a little bigger, and you guys will see that on my website that I'm gonna be building, okay? So same thing, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead, tilt this around, give it a light squeeze, pull it out. You see really nice roots kind of growing everywhere. I'm gonna put it down, just like that. Cover it up. Just like that. So now we have 3 cuttings in, and last but not least, this one is called Thai Gold. This was given to me by my friend named T. She's a very good friend of mine that's always sharing cuttings with me, and I love her for that. So always very generous with the collections that she has. So I'm gonna go ahead. This is a yellow flesh as well. I mean a yellow skin with white flesh as well. It's gonna be a little different from Israeli Gold with characteristics, but looks pretty similar if you ask me. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant this last one in the back right here. So same thing, you guys. I'm gonna just kind of tilt it, make sure most of my soil goes back in there. Check out the roots. We actually got some roots right here, so we are good to go, you guys. It's a little high. I'm gonna push this down just to get it down a little bit. There we go. And I kind of knocked over the Sour Patch, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. Very good. Okay, so now we have all of our cuttings ready to be planted. Everything looks good. This is now where I'm going to go ahead and take the garden tape now, tie everything up, secure it, fill it back up with the remaining soil that I need to, and give it a light watering, and that's it, you guys. So let's see, hopefully this is enough. I like to always start at the bottom of the base, something like this. Could have probably made a little longer of a garden tape to make it easier on me. I'm gonna make it work. Tie it up really quick. Okay, so now we have things. Now we just adjust everything. Make sure they're all aligned. Looks good. And you're happy with how they're sitting. Checking them all out. I just need Sour Patch to be right here. And it's looking good. Very happy with how this is all set up. It's that easy, you guys, just to get started. I'm gonna go ahead and tie them up. So what the garden tape does is you're tying them to the post so it keeps them sturdy. Once they're sturdy and they know they're being supported, roots can start to grow more vigorously, because once roots grow, it kind of wiggles these around, but we just can't see with our human eyes, but it does happen. But once they feel that it's stable, they kind of just know to grow and not really try to stabilize themselves. So the garden tape, keep on training your branches to grow, you guys. Okay, so now we have all of these in. We're gonna go ahead and tie them. The bamboo sticks are still there, so I'm gonna take them off at the very end once everything is complete. So here we go. I got some soil left. We're gonna finish filling up most of the pots. So I'm going around, putting all of the soil that is needed to cover the rest of the roots. And this looks good to me. So about 20 gallons, you guys. I was able to use 1 bag of Fox Farm and fill up the whole pot. This kind of gives you guys how much soil you guys need for a 20 gallon. It's just 1 bag. And now they are looking great, you guys. Awesome. Very happy with all of this. So now, last thing to do, clean everything up, make it look nice, and we need to prune some of the cuttings that are growing, the new shoots, so that way they can grow a little quicker. But let me just go ahead and take off all of this old tape. We are ready now to remove it from its old trellis, which was this bamboo stake that I had. Just like this. And you guys can save this to use for other cuttings once you guys want to start propagating new cuttings. I always like to reuse these so I don't ever throw it away. one more bamboo stick. Okay, everything is cleaned up. I like how everything is sitting. Now last thing is just cleaning things up so that way things can grow a little better. Focus its energy on the branch that you want to grow faster so at the end of the season you're gonna get fruits, right? So here you guys can see Thai Gold has 3 branches. I am obviously gonna keep the biggest branch because that one's gonna grow bigger. This one is kind of out of the post, so I'm just gonna cut this off because it's not gonna grow that way. I want things to be close to the post, that way I can train it to go up. So what I do is I just cut this, discard it. I'm gonna keep these 2 because they're still young, just for insurance. If one gets damaged by a snail or something, I have this other one that's gonna continue to growing. So I keep 2 young shoots. Once they kind of get a little bigger, about 6-7 inches, I'm gonna leave one main one, cut off the remaining one, and probably turn that into a cutting. So I'm gonna leave these 2. This here, this white sapphire, see, even though that this is a little bigger, again, it's not close to the post, so I'm not going to cut this one. I'm gonna leave it there for insurance, like I just said, but this one right here, it's gonna go. So taking this one off as well. So we have 2. And this one is barely starting to grow shoots here, so I don't have to worry nothing about that. So we are set. Okay, the last part is the watering. You guys gonna ask me how much water do I need to put in there? Let me grab my hose and I'll show you guys exactly how much, okay? All right guys, I like to water my dragon fruit trellises or my dragon fruit pots with the shower setting. And I always check the water by spraying to make sure the water is cool because in the summertime this water can be very hot. Wait until the water's cool. And you're gonna water about 30 seconds. They have roots already, so they will definitely be using up all that water. If you don't have roots yet, I recommend watering only the top layer about 3 to 4 inches deep. So that way it can get the dragon fruits to start wanting to develop roots. But because these have roots already, I'm gonna give it really good soaking. So about 30 seconds in, okay, you guys? Okay, so I am pretty satisfied with the amount of water that I put in there. And that is it, you guys. So that is the first series of just how to get started, supplies that we need, how many cuttings we should plant in. We talked about supplies and we talked about water. And you guys now get to see the growth happening. So I will probably be doing a week or bi-weekly update on these series just so that you guys can follow along, see what I do as they grow and what I do in the winter time, summertime, when I do feedings with nutrients. It's gonna be all in this series. So make sure you guys follow along, okay you guys? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thought that it was helpful. If you guys do, please hit that like button because it helps me, tells me that you guys are enjoying my videos and you guys wanna see more. If you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and leave it in the comments below and I will try my best to get back to you guys as soon as I can. And if you guys want to see more grafting and dragon fruit videos of mine, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that way you guys won't miss a single thing. All right guys, have a wonderful day. Bye now.